Okay, so here's my tank. Nothing pretty right now. Just trying to keep things alive and thriving before I go to the next tank and trying to put a whole bunch of water movement in it. Here's my refugium with the mangroves. So uh, some of the things don't look super pretty. I had a long battle with dinoflagellates. I finally won. You need to know how to do that, I can tell you. It's not pretty, but basically changed everything. To eliminate the problem, to figure out what it was, but this is the side view. These are the Gorgonians, the damn regal angels picking on. The purple one here is Plexaura flexuosa. It's purple, real fine gold polyps. I think you may have that species already. The other one behind it is a large species that's very, very big long polyps, but you can see it's all growing onto the base there, but the regal angel keeps picking at its polyps. This purple one had lost some branches due to the damn dinoflagellates. I need to trim those off, but it's also getting picked on. It's Antilogorgia elizabethae. It grows like a purple frilly too. This chocolate brown one is the only other Plexaura species. It's identical to the flexuosa here, but it's a chocolate skeleton, and this is the regal's favorite. It's actually picking all the meat off the skeleton you can see there on the side and making it angry. That's a Ventolina behind it. This one back there is the Grubus gorgonian, or the Pinagorgia flavia. You can see around the corner there, that's a piece of the really slimy Pseudoplexarella that I sent you. You'll see more of it around the other side, and the Antilogorgia americana behind it, the feathery one, back where the regal angel's at now. That's another Ventolina there. The little piece you can see above that acrofrag is the only piece of the flabellum I have. It's very tiny and slow growing now. It looks just like Ventolina, but it's yellow. And here's a red plating sponge. I shouldn't have it on the rocks. I should have it separate. Julian said to keep that off your rocks. It'll grow like crazy and smother corals, so I'm gonna start isolating that onto its own rock out in the sand so I can keep control of it. This is Isis hipparus. It's got a white and red hard skeleton. You can break the branches off of it just like Acropora. They also call it Julian's Golden Gorgonian because he was the one that brought it in. A very similar species here is Rumphella. So it looks identical when it's small, very similar, but you notice it's kind of got club tips. That's how you can tell the difference when they're small versus this one. They don't have those white club tips on the Isis hipparus. This one is more flexible. It has a hard skeleton too, but it sways more as it gets bigger. That's another Plexaura flexuosa. That's actually the base off of this one that I tore off. It's regrown. That was open, super feathery all the time until the regals got a taste for it. You still see some of my cyano there around the base of it that's slowly going away completely, thanks to that zeovit. We'll zoom back out. It's my MP60. I gotta buy another one of those for the new tank. So that's kind of the one bommy I have. There's that Americana in the middle with my Magnifica. I just found another anemone that's red base with white tips that I'm going to try to put in with it on the same rock. And then there's the other sides of my tank. To add flow, I had a couple half-inch sea swirls here that I literally just put the biggest Eheim pump I had laying around down there in the corner, and it pumps it up like a dedicated recirculation line there I can control. Not the prettiest thing, but it gives me a lot of flow right now. Okay. This little piece I got from a friend that's Mauricia. It's nothing special. You see the purple frilly all the time. That's the slimy Pseudopterogorgia that I sent you that fouls the water when you cut it. I've got this red Goniopora going crazy that it grows so fast it accidentally touched this rock over here and just spread onto the rock. I'm debating on keeping that or not because it's going to get wild. But here's the other purple encrusting sponge with a brown Eunycia. It's nothing special about this gorgonian. It's just neat to look at, but not very colorful. It's a blue haloclona sponge I have. It grows kind of slow. I brought this green haloclona back from Florida. I try to put it everywhere to hide it. It just touches the rock and grows onto it. The Regal really likes to eat that green one. There's my clam again, I just spooked. Never mind my Aptasia. But there's more of the green haloclona that touched that rock and grew under that sponge. And I think that's all. There's more of that flabellum right there. This is a piece of that Acropora aberratsinoides, I think is how you say it. That's the big heavy branch stuff that Joey Ulo has in his tank. That's super, super heavy branching and gets pink tips. I just got a piece of that from Live Aquaria. Put it in real heavy flow. Let's see how it grows. And then my Eunycia back there hadn't opened much since I cut it for you. That's the one I sent you. It's kind of purplish silver with bright yellow gold polyps. Here's my Negrippes and the Magnifica. And here's another big polyp gorgonia. You can see the other one behind it, how big the polyps are. There's my Regal, who loves to pick at this gorgonia. We might even see it do it. There's another white photosynthetic sponge just growing all that colostria there. It's growing up on the rock. There's another big polyp gorgonian. Here is some flexuosa that's opening back here. The Regal can't really get too easy to pick at it. This guy got covered with algae and all of a sudden just it's peeling off today. It happened over a couple of days. I don't know what his deal is, but that's the Gorgonia marie. That's the third sea fan species. That's the other common photosynthetic plating sponge you see everybody has now. This is the black one that branches like crazy. It's got Aptasia all over. I had it in my refugium. I just wanted to see what it does in high flow. You can see a small piece of it here on the base of that Gorgonian. I'll show you what it looks like in my refugium. It looks totally different under almost no flow. That's funny. You can see this Parietes can encrust this pink tip table, but it can overgrow this green acro. It's losing the war on that one there. So, but that pink tip table seems to be pretty strong about fighting off the Parietes. Here's some other Bolivian Gorgonians the Regal's been picking on too, that nothing special about them. I've grown those a long time ago. I'll probably end up getting rid of that whole rock because I don't want those yellow colonial Paralzoanthus in my tank. And here's a Durasa I just picked up from Biota, from Live Aquaria, that still hasn't really acclimated. It came in really faded, and it hasn't really acclimated to these bright lights yet. Here's some Sprung Stunner. If you need some of that, I've got that coming out of my ears. I throw away a ton of it every year. And some Cineraria, an MP40. And that's that. See my fish hiding, I guess I'll feed them. And then that's my Captor Limetree, I'm keeping alive in the winter. So here's my 3 mangroves. I think I'll probably thin them down and only keep one for my new refugium so I can actually get some light under them to the tank. This tank kind of looks like hell, but got a reflection here. You can see maybe that branching. That's that same black sponge I just showed you, but it's long and branching inside the refugium. From up top, we can see a little reflection maybe. You can see these long fingers with pores in the top. I've got some Xenia growing basically everywhere. This tank's kind of a garbage can for whatever I don't want. Some Xenia about to clog my overflow drain. Red Sea Xenia. And that's that.